How long can a human stay awake for? There is no real number, but once you reach 72 hours, you can start to experience depression, anxiety, or paranoia, you can start hallucinating, and you can't think straight. So let's just say, for my well-being, because I don't want to deal with all of that, it's 72 hours. I'll be playing The Witcher 3 for the first time, which is 66.5 hours, including the Blood and Wine DLC, which until recently was the highest rated DLC. If I fall asleep for 1 minute or I can't beat the game within this time, the challenge is over. So let's get this underway. Now of course, simply playing the game and trying to not fall asleep would be too easy for me. So along the way, every 5 hours, we're gonna have a mini challenge just to make sure that I'm not going brain dead. At this point, I've been awake for 2 hours already, so that gives me roughly 3.5 hours for any delays. One thing that isn't delayed is how quick this game was to show whole cheeks on the screen. They had to make sure you are hooked. The first hour was simply getting used to the game, understanding the story, and playing Gwent, which, not gonna lie, it was actually pretty fun. So far, I was really enjoying the game, and I was like, 2015 Game of the Year, I see it. Now sleep-wise, of course, with it being so early, there wasn't going to be much difficulty. But even if I was tired, this clip right here was going to shock me awake.
You black ones aren't so scary after all. Can even be nice.
What does that mean?
Don't get accustomed, Nordling.
You black ones?
To the tower. Go.
Get out. What did you mean by that? I don't think any amount of context can save this clip. There are no black people in this game, and I understand why now, because I wouldn't want to be here either. Geralt is calling these people black ones just because they have black armor. Like what? That's allowed? That sounded like some founding father type of line, like, you black ones aren't so scary after all. Like what? Then he starts talking about the sex of a griffin, like, why do you want to know this information? I don't know how to feel about Geralt just yet, but the drama didn't stop in this place. Let's go, Roach. We're not wanted here. What is it? What'd you say? What'd you say to me? You said I can't take 1 and 8? Maybe I can't. Yeah, I got jumped, but I had to take one of them down with me before I started running away. I had to keep progressing the story. It's things like that though, which is why I chose this game for this challenge, because I am so easily intrigued in doing whatever I want in an open world game. Like, oh, what's this thing over here? Oh, you caught my attention, what's here? Like, I'm never doing just street story. However, now it was time for my first boss fight in this game. I suck in this game. 1 or 2 more hits and it would have been GG's. Now before we come across our first big hurdle in this game, I would like to say horse riding in this game, good lord, it is bad. You know what it is I think about the horse riding that makes it a little off? Is that it wants to follow the track really badly, but then if I steer in any other direction it kind of like, it messes up a little bit. I feel like I'm fighting against my horse to go off the path that it automatically locks onto. Right now we're just over 2 hours into the game and we've met Yennefer, who we were looking for. By the way, great character design. But then we come across our first hurdle, which wasn't even caused by the game. So technical difficulties, my camera battery died, the battery expanded, it got stuck in the camera for a good few minutes. It took like 10 minutes at least to get this battery out of there. That was a lot of valuable time that I just wasted here, so I couldn't waste any more time. But then we come across another hurdle within the game. I'm broke. Like, I have no money. I can't buy anything for my health. So I really need to get better with combat because I can't be dealing with this many deaths and struggling this much. So I proceeded to get through more of the game. By the way, great villain design. Until something I wasn't expecting to happen so soon happened. I was already showing signs of tiredness. Chat, look. We might be cooked here. But it's like the game knew that I was tired, because then I got introduced to Kira and all of a sudden I was locked in. I genuinely don't think I can show like half of this game, by the way. But after getting through this cave mission, which I actually found quite difficult because I actually died quite a bit here, it was time for our first mini challenge. So we have 2 challenges, something very simple just to keep my brain occupied. What are we gonna get? We are doing higher or lower. This one is simply higher or lower. However, the only way for me to not receive a punishment that could cause me to sleep is to get 5 in a row. And if I win 3 of these mini challenges in a row, then I'll receive a reward which will help me get through the 70-hour challenge. So we're doing best-selling video game. Elden Ring 100%. Okay, we need to get 5 at least. 2K11 is not getting 30 million. Alan Wake, ooh, it's a classic. Like, it got enough to get a sequel. NBA is a basketball game, you know, you have game with a ball. Some people love those types of games, game with balls and guns. I'm gonna go Alan Wake. Our first forfeit is, it's not gonna be too bad since it is pretty early in the challenge here. We have to do nothing for 10 minutes. We were off to a bad start. These punishments right now are light work, but once we reach nighttime and once I've stayed awake for a whole day, that's when we're in the real danger zone right there. We were able to get through this one just fine, but that was my first 5 hours of the game complete. Right now, we're just getting through the game. I played my first Ciri segment of the game as well. I didn't expect to be able to play as Ciri, so it was actually a really nice surprise, and her combat is really fun. But as time went on, then came around our real test, nighttime. It's been 7 hours of staring at a screen all day, and it was taking its toll on me. So I was not looking forward to the next challenge at all. With this being an open world game, there's a lot of dialogue. And normally, you know, that's great, I love story. But in a challenge where I'm trying to not sleep, dialogue only makes it worse. My eyes were getting heavier and heavier as time went on. Like I was already starting to lay down. We were in the trenches and it's not even been 10 hours. Once we were in some action light, I felt a bit better, I felt less tired. But once that dialogue hits, it hits like a truck. I felt so tired again. But I was able to stay awake and keep it pushing through this game and also get better at combat along the way. One thing I really need to praise about this game is that whenever you enter a little town or a little village, it really feels lived in because the amount of houses that you can enter, even though most of it is just copy and pasted, it really adds up to like how interactive the world feels because you don't even get that in current gen games. Once I realized that I could enter almost every house, the extra time that I had suddenly wasn't looking so extra, like that time vanished and you'll see why soon. It was all going well until I didn't realize it was actually time for another challenge. It's now been 10 hours and it's currently 11:50, so pretty much midnight. This challenge was important. Grand Blue Fantasy or Scum? This is, I feel like it has to be Scum, right? I feel like Scum made more of an impression. Oh no. Yeah, I truly sucked at these. I actually thought I'd be better at them. Turns out I'm actually pretty bad. Alright, what I have to do now is reload an old save. So I reset to the start of this mission, which I was almost done with. Those extra 3.5 hours that I said to you earlier were suddenly looking like 1 hour at best. But once we caught up to where we were, got that mission done, and got through our next series segments, which is a great way to tell the story by the way. We met Umar, who I genuinely feel really bad for, because everyone in this game just calls him ugly. I see, like, he's kinda cute, he's in his own special way, he's not that bad. I chose to do a side quest even though I was trying to avoid them, but I felt like I needed to do one because I was 3 levels below the recommended level for the next quest. And I didn't want to struggle that hard through the whole game, so I want to catch up a little bit. So I decided to do Kira's side mission, which it did end up taking a whole hour to finish this string of quests that she had for me. But by the end, I was almost level 9, and honestly, I couldn't have picked a better side quest to do. But then, boy oh boy do I forget I'm doing a challenge. I get to this next town, and this is my downfall. First off, do you see how many buildings there are? I wanted to explore every single one, and I did just that. I had no money, I needed to get stuff somehow, at least find stuff to sell, and this was the way to do it. While it was worth it to some degree, I was doing this for 40 minutes. But once I was done letting the black criminal out of me, I got lost in the source yet again. I was just exploring this town and seeing what it had to offer. Also, for some reason from this point on, the game starts to crash a lot more, and I don't know why. I'm on PS5, I don't think there was anything I could do about it, but I wasted a tiny bit of time here and there just resetting the game. But then came along our next challenge, which was insanely extremely important because it is currently 4:50 AM. If I don't get this challenge done, I might be in danger of falling asleep to whatever punishment I get. I was constantly getting higher or lower, so I chose to randomize it a bit and do the other challenge, just so we have a bit of a mix up, and this one is Guess the Video Game.
God of War, Ragnarok.
God of War. Next question.
Poppy's Playtime. Don't know which chapter, but Poppy's Playtime. Spider-Man. That's the first one.
Can you answer at least 30 questions?
Oh, Roblox. Wait, no, that's not Roblox. Roblox? Oh, it's... Valorant.
Valorant.
Thankfully, no punishment this time.
Thankfully, I was able to get through it, but I still felt like my eyes could close at any moment right now. Now, a big chunk of the game takes place in this town, as we're looking for Siri and helping Tris along the way. Normally, this wouldn't be a problem. I actually think it's a great place and it's really well designed. However, not having much scenery change and going through a lot, and I mean a lot, of dialogue at 5 AM, I was fighting my demons here. I don't think I've ever felt this tired before because I've never forced myself to stay awake for this long. Like, I'm for real tweaking out to do anything to keep my eyes open because I know once I shut them, I'm done. Like, I'm not waking back up. Look at me. This portion of the game is doing numbers on me. I will say though, story-wise, as much as I love exploring this place, it did feel a little dragged out for me, and it didn't help, of course, with my tiredness. It's currently 7 AM, 17 hours in. People are getting up ready for work. Meanwhile, I'm here looking like I'm about to pass out. But then the game told me, hey, lock in, buddy, you got this. So I did for about 5 minutes, and then I was back to being tired again. I pretty much had to force myself to lock in and not get too comfortable, because it is 10 times worse that way. Yeah, it didn't last too long. Right now, I'm completely fine whenever I'm in combat or whenever there's something crazy on screen, but then out comes a challenge. I'm so tired that I forgot to change my screen to record what I was doing.
Isn't it higher or lower? Yeah. Marvel Avengers of Dark shit. Marvel Avengers, 100%. Dark shit.
But I failed the challenge anyway, and I had to close my eyes for 5 minutes with no timer to wake me up. This of course doesn't count as me failing unless I actually fall asleep. Now I did do it, but closing my eyes for that long made me feel so tired that I had to go and lay down and pretend like I was getting some rest. I was literally just staring at the ceiling because laying down and closing my eyes, I was asking to fail right then and there if I did that. But still, you can see how dead I am at this point. But I'm still fighting it, kinda. I don't know how much longer I've got in me. I'm telling you, these dialogue scenes, they go crazy on me. Even just walking around now was getting to me. I think it's because I'm not only in the same town for so long, but I'm also hearing the same soundtrack over and over again. So low-key felt hypnotizing. I was getting through these missions and my tiredness was slowly going away as time went on, and I decided since it was a new day to get up, take a shower, grab some food, and hopefully I feel like a new man once I'm done. Which seemed like it worked. I didn't feel as tired as before, and that was all I needed. Finally, after almost 8.5 hours in this single town, we're finally leaving to go to the last region of the map to go and find Siri. But before that, we had another challenge.
Now I have to redeem myself. Doing most played. Okay, this should be easy. I know it does well, but I don't think it's doing more than that. Chained together. Oh, this went crazy with numbers. It has to be chained. Yeah. No, I never know what.
And we failed, of course, like who would have guessed at this point, right? So I had to reload an old save, so we were set back another 30 minutes. But after giving this guy pretty much all of my money and becoming broke, once again, we were on our way to the final region. Having a new location, as well as it being daytime in real life, felt so refreshing. Like, I didn't feel tired at all anymore. We were progressing really well through this story, as well as going crazy on a unicorn. I did a couple things along the way which I knew would be really good for armor or weapons as well. We got a few things done with Yennefer to find Ciri. It was also the final time we'd play as Ciri until, wait, before we progress, we have a challenge. I've currently been up for 31 hours and we have 39 hours of the sleep challenge left. I wasn't feeling super tired, but I was hoping to get the challenge completed. I feel like I've lost so much at higher or lower that I feel like I have to do higher or lower so that I can get at least one win under my belt on it. Like, I can't just keep losing, right? I have to be able to win at some point. So let's not spin the wheel this time. Let's just go straight to higher or lower once again. We will do best selling. Oh, I have to back my game Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. There's no way I can't back it after I'm playing it right now. Hogwarts Legacy, I don't think it beat Witcher. Oh, that's 34 million though. Oh, Sim 3, you're not beating this. 10 million is still really good though. Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider is a classic title. It was the comeback as well, I'm pretty sure. That was when they started locking in and making like actual Tomb Raider games again. Lara Croft is like one of the most iconic video game characters. Sims 3 did 10 million, but I think Tomb Raider 2013 might have beaten it. Surely. Yes. Oh, 1 million off. Oof. Okay. Assassin's Creed 3. Okay, here's this thing. I know Assassin's Creed back in the day was huge. Like, it was massive, and this game is like one of the highest rated Assassin's Creed games, I'm pretty sure. I'm going Assassin's Creed. Oh, I actually did it. I did it. It doesn't matter if I fail at this point, but I'm just gonna go World at War anyway. Oh my god, I'm still going. You know, I'm gonna keep going. If I get 10, I'm gonna say I'm allowed one of my rewards. Dark Souls 3, I don't think you're doing 15 million, I'm not gonna lie. Oh my god, I was right. Tomb Raider 3, you're not doing 10 million back in the day, no. Nah, Tomb Raider's beating Harry Potter. Okay, never mind. For once, we finally beat higher or lower. Since it was cutting it close with how many mini challenges that I have left for this video, I decided instead of 3 in a row, I can get 2 in a row, and then I can get a reward if I even reach that point. So we'll see how that goes next time. But back to the game, we finally knew where she was staying thanks to freeing the person that was stuck in whatever you want to call this thing. But before we go and get Ciri, you're able to get some allies to prepare for the Wild Hunt, which will come once you bring her back home. I actually wanted to do this because even though it will take up a lot of time doing their side missions, because you can't ask them unless you've completed their side missions, I'm only going to get to experience this once without knowing the outcome, so I wanted the full experience. Going through all of these actually showed me just how good some of these side missions are, because I was kind of hooked on a couple of these. To top all of this off, in the middle of these missions I had another mini challenge. We do most played. Review scores kind of yeah. Okay, Tale of Immortal or Far Cry 4. Which I of course failed, so no reward for me, but my punishment was to do a side mission on top of the missions that I'm currently doing for the allies. So I chose to do Triss's side missions for no particular reason, but once all of this was done, after 3 hours of side missions, we finally made it to the Isle of Mists, and it was finally time to reunite with Ciri. Let me tell you, that feeling of being here after 40 hours of clue after clue after clue, like we're playing Blue's Clues, this felt amazing, and it was here that I knew we're close to the end of this main story. It was time to get prepared for the Wild Hunt. But wait, we have a mini challenge. Guess the video game by image.
This is Starfield. Okay, this is oh no, Dance the Words. Diablo 4. Oh, I was never gonna get Diablo 4. Reload an old save.
Loved the reunion so much I had to do it again, but once we were back, it was go time. This battle genuinely felt like a big deal after how long the game spent building these guys up hunting Ciri, and I never really had a chance to have a real fight with them until now. It wasn't crazy hard or anything, but cinematically, story-wise, and gameplay-wise, this battle was so much fun and it was great. I loved this whole sequence. Then to end it with Ciri awakening her potential and them having to retreat, this was cinema. They didn't want the smoke. It was time for us to take the fight to them, and Ciri already knew where the right hand man was chilling, so it was time for a little trip. At this point, sleep-wise, I am feeling quite tired, but I had to forcibly lock in for Ciri's fight because this was actually pretty difficult to beat the crones, but it just made me enjoy Ciri's combat even more despite dying so many times. To then switch to Geralt after and be ready to face Imlerith, the right hand man. This was the action that I needed. This was a very patient battle in which I needed to make sure I timed my moves right because he did a lot of damage. I'd say I did pretty well since it only took 2 attempts. Of course though, we ain't done here. We haven't killed the king of the Wild Hunt just yet. So I had to go through some missions of prep such as a few more allies, as well as finding a sunstone which will summon the Wild Hunt for a trap card. This game was honestly so fun, and I'm so glad that I picked this game for this challenge. It was time for our final mini challenge of this main portion of the game, so let's see if we can beat it this time.
We'll do this one. Okay, surely. No, there's no way this is outbeating this. There's no way. Ooh, that did well though. No, it's not beating this. This is gonna be higher. Yeah. Okay, hold on, we're on a good streak right now. I don't think it's gonna. No, I don't think it's gonna be better than this. Yeah. This was the second one after Origins, right? After they revamped it. And I heard a lot about this one. I'm gonna go with this one just because it's an established IP. Yeah, 10 million? Damn. Dark Souls, I don't think Dark Souls did 10 million. Nah. NBA, it's gonna be NBA. Yeah, like. What? This is unfair. I'm gonna say this one now. Oh wow, yeah. Okay, come on. I'm gonna say 16. Just gave me 3 back to back.
The only way to stop me, of course, was putting Bull Game versus Bull Game. Like, it's low-key rigged. I don't even think the fans of the game know the difference between these 2 games. But I got through the Sunstone mission, and now it was time for the final war. This war starts off with a bang, letting you use Ciri's powers to a full extent with no stamina loss. This went crazy, and then to have her fulfill her role in breaking the Major Staff and freeing everyone, to then switch to Geralt for that boss fight, this was great. Like, I was loving every moment of this. But this guy isn't our goal. Our goal is the king. So let's get this final boss fight started. Alright, not gonna lie, I cooked this man. I just used my protective armor spell because he'll only get 1 hit off every now and then because I knew when to dodge. Like, we've come a long way from the start of this game. Still though, it was a pretty fun boss fight, all for there to be a plot twist at the end. The guy that we freed from that man-child monster body thing, he tricked me and, what's the final boss's name? I don't know, final boss guy, he tricked both of us, and now I need to go and get him because he's taken Ciri. Yeah, that was a lie, but Ciri is actually sacrificing herself to stop the land from being taken over by the White Frost, which is prophesized to be her fault, and if it happens, the world as we know it is GG's. Like, we ain't coming back from that. So she peaced out, and it was actually kinda cool because your good choices are flashing through her mind before she makes her decision. I didn't know this, but there's actually multiple endings in this game, so these good choices that you make throughout the whole game were actually pretty important. The game keeps that hush-hush, like, it doesn't give you any hint that these choices are important. So I actually got pretty lucky that I got the good ending because what I got is her, you know, baiting the world into believing that she's dead. No one knows she's alive, but Geralt knows that she is alive, and she actually becomes a Witcher. And I assume this is the true ending because in the trailer for The Witcher 4 and all of that, we do see her being a Witcher, so I think I got the good ending. I couldn't believe it, but after 54 hours, we've finally beaten the main story for this game, and this game is amazing. I love the combat, the exploration, the main story, even though it was slow at times. I love the side missions. Overall, it was a great experience, and we're not even done here. We have the DLC to get through as well, and I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah, I might have fallen asleep a long time ago. That first battle really took it out of me because I was gone for hours. Like, I fell asleep for 3 hours before realizing, oh my god, the challenge has failed.
I saw that. I was asleep for like 3 hours. We were doing so well too. I wanted to at least finish the main game, even if I knew I probably wouldn't finish the DLC. We did like 42 hours. Maybe if I didn't lay down, it would have been better. But I just felt like I needed to lay down, and that was it. I was gone.
It's a shame that I couldn't get the challenge done without sleeping, but I want to at least share my experience in some way. This is definitely a game that I'll keep playing in my spare time and actually go through the DLC too, because I really want to do that. And doing all the side missions that I missed as well, because I'm really interested in those. It's a great game, and I'm really excited for Witcher 4 now. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Hopefully next time we can get through the challenge and actually finish it. But nonetheless, I hope you have a great day or night, wherever it is for you, and yeah, bye.
My story.